Okay, this is Wendy again. We've got Travis Matz here. Thanks for coming in.
Of course.
You are running for a position on the trustee, the board for trustee
Yes.
position. Okay. Thanks for coming in. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So, hello, Augusta Township residents and constituents. Thank you, Wendy and Heather, for hosting this event and for putting this together. This is a great opportunity for us to meet you all, even though virtually. We've got to use our avenues of connection when possible. So, as Wendy had said, my name is Travis Matz. I have lived in Augusta Township primarily my entire life. My family originated here in the early 1930s, and my family home has been on Rawsonville ever since. So I have a deep-rooted connection to this place. I love that I get to call this place home. I work professionally in the marketing industry. My bachelor's is in interior design, and then I have a master's of science in historic architectural preservation. So I'm very proud of all the creative and engineering kind of tidbits I'm able to bring to the table. I do work a lot in community planning and a little bit of event planning and things like that. My background is very jack of all trades, so I hope that helps in the long run of fulfilling this position and bringing positive change to the township and the people who live here. I am a son, I am a grandson, I'm an uncle. My niece is a big joy in my life right now. We just got back from our first family vacation with 8 of us, so that was a journey, but it was a good one, and I'm sure lots of you have stories that you could share as well. And Rawsonville has kind of always been the place that I've called home. I have dear friends on Talladay Road, on Judd Road, throughout. I went to high school in Milan. I started school at Lincoln, so Brick is a near and dear place that's a preservationist in my heart. I love our rural landscape, and I'm really focused. The 4 things that I'm kind of focused on are character, community preservation, infrastructure improvements, sustainable development, and equitable engagement. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Next question, why are you running for office?
Well, I touched on it a little bit,
Yes,
but
you
I
did.
have 4 key components, and I'll start with the first one. So community preservation, as I said, coming from a background in historic architectural preservation, I was afforded the opportunity to learn and understand the importance of place and community and people. I think a lot of times you hear the word preservation and you think it's just about buildings, but it's really about recognizing the resources that are available to us in the place that we call home, and luckily we all get to call Augusta a home. And so recognizing the resources that we have and seeing the value that those places bring, not only in buildings and things like that, but in the stories that people have, in the places that people have experienced stories, and then continuing that longevity into the future for generations to come, I think is really crucial. I think we'll notice, especially here in Washtenaw County and in neighboring county of Wayne, there is a lot of change happening, and change is, I like to think, it's a good thing because change is inevitable, but it depends on the type of change and if you're in front of that change. You can be 10 steps ahead and still not really know what the plan is. And I think in this trustee position, I would like to bring to the table greater conversations and bridging the gap with other communities in our county, neighboring townships and things like that, to really just secure this place that we call home for its longevity. My second component that I'm really focused on is infrastructure improvement. I think there's a lot that the township has, and it's an old township, and I think that there's a lot of improvements available. I think we just need to recognize where opportunities lie in the grand scheme of things. So that could be through grant programs, that could be through nonprofit funding, things like that. But there are definite water resources that we could address, that we could take care of. There is landscaping maintenance that could be addressed. One of the big things for me, and having lived on Rossville my entire life, is recognizing that, and I understand that this is focused primarily on Rawsonville, but I think the shoe fits for many scenarios throughout the township, is that we have thoroughfares of a lot of traffic, and how to address that and how to maintain that for the longevity, again, is crucial. My third element is sustainable development. I know a lot of people are afraid of the word development because they think that brings, again, inevitable change, but if we are in the forefront of it and we can direct how those changes happen, then we can definitely make this place something that others will look to as a standard.
Sorry,
Oh, that's okay.
Do you want to wrap up the last
Oh yes,
one?
and the
Yeah.
last one, no, my last one was equitable engagement, and that just means that there is a spot at the table for everybody. You know, we've got over 6,000 residents in this township, and I think everybody deserves a chance to speak their truth, to bring ideas to fruition, to bring grievances to the table, and I think having that in a monitored and appropriate format is definitely necessary in this day and age.
Awesome. Which really ties into our next question organically. What do you want for the future of Augusta Township in terms of growth?
Oh, I want greatness. I want greatness. You know, you read these articles, and like I said before, you see these things of major developments in local communities such as Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti and Belleville, and you know, even though we are a small country town for the most part, I know we're not necessarily a town, but we've got Willis and Whitaker, so you could compare us easily to a town. Even though we are a small country place, that doesn't mean that change isn't a good thing for us. And change doesn't have to be something dramatic or monumental. It could just be, well, this is the plan for the next 20 years so that we don't lose resources and so that we don't lose the character of the place that we like to call home. And I think, you know, bridging that gap with the digital world and with the virtual realities that we're able to engage in, I think that's a huge opportunity for us to continue to be a leader in the rural aspect and in rural communities throughout Michigan. You know, Michigan there's a lot of country farmland around in Michigan, and so to be heavily engaged and involved is crucial. And I think for too many decades now, things have gone to the wayside, and I think it's time that we gather and we speak up for what needs to be done and we take charge.
Awesome. Last question. How do you handle conflict and manage working relationships with people that have different and sometimes strong opinions that are opposite of yours?
That is a great question. You know, my biggest way that I approach any kind of group setting or a situation where there's multiple voices, perspectives, is that my perspective is not the only one. And I think a lot of times people forget that everybody is living their own individual life, and everybody's life brings a different meaning, and in the grand scheme of things, we have to figure out how collaboration and collective perspective can unite us. And I think, though with social media and Facebook, for example, it's a fabulous resource to have to bring us together, it can also be very divisive, because when you read something, you don't necessarily get the perspective that the person is trying to put off. So I think that, you know, the best thing is to have empathy, is to have dignity, and is to have respect. And I think those are three things that, with the fast pace of our world, we kind of lose track of those things sometimes. And I think as your trustee, I would be able to use the decade of professional and academic experience and skills that I've gathered so far, utilize those, but also build on those with the help of the constituents, of my neighbors, of everyone here. So
Nice. Thanks for coming in today.
thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.